This is a plant of narrow Tritia, large semicactus, or I'll grow it as a large semicactus. It will make a medium, but in my mind the petal's far too broad and heavy as an 8-inch flower. As a 10.5 inch flower, it's just right. Now unusually on this, I do grow 8 flowers to the plant. I'm sure not many people do. And it's one that I think responds to a double stop. So again, a plant of this size, there is some small shoots going in there. It's not the first to flower. It will hold back a little bit. So I'm going to double stop it. I always do. And if it's worked with you, stick with it. Don't change. And then we'll just take the grain tip out and leave the plant there again with about 6 to 8 shoots to develop. Those again would be stops, but with this, certainly the end of June would be the latest I'd second stop that. Otherwise we're going to be sort of chasing for flowers. I've only got 30 plants of it this year. I had a few more last year so I could spread them, but I've balanced it back with the Challenger. Didn't have such a great year last year as it did the year before, so we'll see what happens this year. Canora Valentine, again I've got 2 batches of plants out of the 30 that I've planted. Some sort of from this size upwards, and others there and there. The smaller ones I'm going to leave. I'm going to try growing those on a single stop and just select the breaks. The larger plants I really don't see, across to this side again, how I'm going to hold that to flowering from these side breaks. And sometimes if you've got no faith that you can do that, or not even a chance, just don't take the chance. Get the top out. At least removing that. Now, being a giant and one that I'm probably only going to grow a couple up, maybe 3 if I feel brave. I'm not going to want more than about the 4 shoots that are there, and say there's probably a couple from below that will come. If they do, I'll use them. Another reason why I don't generally cut beyond this, going down further into the plant, is the stem gets quite thick down here, and if we cut below this leaf break, that little hollow in the stem gets much larger, and quite often it will fill with water, or certainly feed and spray, and start rotting that stem down. So I'd rather go a pair up than I'd like, and remove the side shoots and just leave this pair of leaves intact, then fiddle around trying to butcher it down there at this stage. So not many people I would think would double stop this, but I've got no fears with it. I will double stop. It's purely timing. Now, Canora Challenge is an interesting variety. There seems to be many ways in which people grow it. I've got 40 plants of it, and I would say that 20 of them are this size plant, which is the sort of second batch. Only just about sort of 3 pairs, 4 pairs of leaves, if that. Now those I'm going to try hanging on to on a single stop, and just leave the centre in as long as I can, let the side breaks develop a bit, and then come the sort of first week of July, I shall probably then select down to about 6, leaving a couple in hand, feed those, and then if any come into bud before I want them to, or look like they're not going to come into bud when I want them to, then I'll remove those to leave me the 4. Other plants up here, let's take you on a journey, being the larger plants with a few more pairs of leaves on there, just falling over. Now I don't think I'm going to be able to hold those now to a single stop, and I think it's times like this you make a decision. I may be able to get a second opinion on it. I've got a friend that we all know turning up later this morning, and I'll probably ask him what he would do, but I don't think I'm going to hold out on a single stop, not in this part of the woods, so I'm going to stop it properly. So on this, I have literally just left the 2 pairs. There is a pair coming from below, which would be great. So we've just got the 6 shoots at the most, taking the main part of the plant out. It's my theory or belief that as long as you make your decisions early enough with Kenora Challenger, a second stop will be about the first week of July, and those plants will grow naturally from that stop to flower. I won't knock them back or bud time or mess around with them. I'll clean them up as quickly as I can once the first shoots are developed. And I think either way, I know Ian, who comments on the site, he grows these differently. I grow a big strong plant and then chop it nigh onto the floor and try to encourage the breaks from underground. That's very brave, and obviously he's done it and he's confident that it'll work. I've tried this both ways, and I can't really tell the difference between the flowers from those that have been double stopped or single, and they get mixed in the same vase without any fear of difference. But as long as it's done, Challenger doesn't like being messed about with in the latter stages, certainly. So that's what I'll do to the first 20. The second 20 I'll hold on to, and we'll see what happens. As you can see, I'm going to feed the plants. At this stage, being the first feed in the ground, certainly not the first feed they've had. They've had one sort of a couple of 3 days before they were planted, and then I have several light feeds in the pots. I'm going to feed. I use these wheelie bins again. There's 1, 2 and 3, and at this stage of the game probably 4 or 5 bins would be enough to feed the plot, the whole 250 litres, and it would be a high nitrogen feed, not too strong. I'd stick to the packet doses certainly at this stage, so high nitrogen can be a lawn food, or if you've got any other high nitrogen, then use that. I tend to try to be showing you stuff that's available easily on the shelf. I could get access comfortably to commercial feeds and fertilisers, but there's no point in me saying I use this and it works if you then can't go out and buy it. So I'm trying to stick to commercial standard garden centre products, and lawn food being high nitrogen is a great soluble feed. So that's what I'm going to use. At this stage, 1-2 gallon can, probably between 6 to 8 plants. I'm not trying to sort of blow them up. The roots are only just getting out. We can see that they're getting into the base dressing. It's just an initial feed, and that will progress as time goes along. Right, okay, we've got a visitor, and I've asked him to tell me what he would do with a plant of Kenora Challenger if it was his. And obviously, for those that don't recognise you, it's Dave Spencer. Where you go, Dave?
Hello there. Well, I've done various things over the years with Kenora Challenger, starting off by stopping it and letting them come, and I find if it's a good plant, it blooms too early. So then I started to stop them normally, let the breaks come, and then do a slight knockback, and I found I was getting medium-sized blooms instead of a large. And today, this is the sort of plant I will be planting. I've planted 72 Challenger plants, and they're very much like this plant here. And what I would do with that is not touch it until the end of June, early July, and then I would cut it down to 2 visible breaks above surface, remembering that my plants are planted very deep, so there would be 2 pairs below the ground, and then I would allow, when I stop it down here somewhere, for 2 breaks to come above the ground. So I've got 4 breaks coming now in mid-July, and then I will whittle down to 4 to bloom them and start this budding about the 1st of August. And I reckon on Kenora Challenger, if you start this budding in the southeast of England where we live, if you start this budding on the 1st of August, it will take you to the bank holiday with average weather, which is about 5 days before the Shepton Mallet National, and that's the way I grow Kenora Challenger.
Thank you, I hope that helps. I'm sure I'll get him some more later on.